Hello, good Saturday morning. It's so fun to be back on a live today. So, today we are going to be painting some candy corns and some ghosts, and I'm pretty excited. And I hope you're all having a fabulous Saturday. I'm Robin with Center Street Decor SVGs, and we've got the cutest ghosts, the cutest little candy corn. And if you haven't seen them on my page, or seen them in the Etsy shop, they've been in the Etsy shop for quite a while and they've been really, really fun. So let me just show you. I painted a few of these candy corns just the other day, just hanging out in my little craft room and painting. So this is an SVG file, but if you didn't know, I also have these as a kit, a DIY kit. So you would get the wood blanks to make your own little candy corn, and you would get little accessories, the little glasses, and then the little tags. So you can use the glasses or not. Let me just show you. So here's the sweet little candy corn. So they come in 4 different sizes. So if you purchase the SVG file, it is 4 different sizes, and then that way you don't have to worry about resizing. I've already done that for you. I've resized the tags and then the glasses so they fit. So here is the largest one, and then this is the small, and then we also have a mini. Isn't that just the cutest? And he has a little trick-or-treat bag. So you can choose, if you buy the DIY kit, you can choose a trick-or-treat bag or a tag. So whichever you like. And they come with 3 different tag phrases. So they're so cute. I just love them. So today we're going to paint the medium one, and that's why the medium one isn't right here. But we've got the large, small, and then our mini. So, oh, they're so cute. I just love them. And they are shelf sitters, so they're thick. So they will actually stand up on your shelf all by themselves. I call them my chunky shelf sitters. I like that. So here is the ghost, and I'm going to paint them together just because they are a quick and easy paint. So they're so fun if you wanted to do them for paint parties. They're just a quick and easy put together. You could do the whole family of them as well. So this is the large, and he is 5.5 inches tall. I think it's 5.5. So same with the candy corn. They're approximately the same size. And then here is the small. And again, you can decorate them how you want with the little trick-or-treat bags, with the glasses. And these little glasses, I put little dots on his glasses. I thought that was so adorable. And then here is the little ghost. Here's the tiny one, or I call him a mini. So we are gonna paint the medium one, medium size today. So again, they are quick and easy to paint. So fun to put together get a group together. If you do paint parties, they would be a really fun, quick and easy paint party. Like I said, you could paint the whole family. So let me tip you down, and I'm going to show you what we are going to paint. Let me grab a little drink here. Love to drink ice water. That's kind of like my go-to water. Water's my go-to, so I'm going to get my little reading glasses on, which I love to wear. So I'm going to tip you down here. Get all my fingers in the way. Sorry about that. Okay, so we got our little ghost up high right here. So we'll bring you back this way a little bit. So, okay, so here is the medium-sized candy corn. And let me lay them out together so you can see the sizes together. So here's our large. And then we have our medium, our small, and our mini. Don't they make the cutest little family? Oh, so cute. I just love them. They're so fun. They're so fun. So they'll decorate my little, I have a corner shelf, a corner hutch that I decorate all my my seasonal decorations. And right now I have all my cute summer stuff. If you didn't see that, I did just kind of a quick video on my Facebook page. So showing you how I decorated the shelf, and I used my watermelon, and then I used my bees and my beehive, and then also on the top I used my flip flops, and then my beach bags. And then there's a cute with the flip flops. There's a little sign, a wood sign that is so cute. Okay, so here is our candy corn and our ghost. So if you remember with my chunkies, they are three different layers. So this is how I decided to do these. Since I already have glasses on these two, I thought this one I wouldn't do glasses. So just so we have a little bit of a variety. So these guys are not going to have glasses, but they're going to have a tag, and I'm going to show you how I put together the tag. It's really quick and easy. So that's what we're going to do. So if you remember with my chunky shelf sitters, so they have three different pieces, and this is cut out of 1/4 inch wood. Yeah, 1/4 inch. So, you know, it's almost a 1/4 inch, but, you know, wood is not exactly like that. And I just use plywood. So if you put the three shapes together, they stand up on their own. So they make a chunky shelf sitter. That's what I call them, chunky shelf sitter. So we don't need to do anything at all with the middle one. And then on the back, I do give it a finish. I just rub, and I'll show you that, but I just rub some burnt umber paint on there just to give it a finished look. So yeah, so I do that with all of them. So I just think it just finishes them off. So, and I do that with a baby wipe. So we will do that. Let's start doing our painting first, because it takes a bit. I usually do 2 coats of the base coat. So I'm going to put my ghost up here so they look cute. I've got my cute candy corn hanging out here. I've got my tags, which I don't want to lose right there. So it's so fun. Let me just show you. When I cut out my these shelf sitters, you can see all the different pieces that I cut out. So we have all the different sizes. So we have the large tag, and there's just 3 different sizes of tags. If you go too small, it's hard to read. So if you can see, and I'm going to turn it around because I think I'm backwards. So you can see the large sign, and these are the pieces for the ghost. So happy haunting. So happy haunting. And then we have the I love Halloween, and then hey boo. So those are the tags. So they come in the different sizes. And I guess I did the treat bags in 4 different sizes. So we have a larger one. Oh, here's the larger one. So I did do those in the 4 different sizes. So they're teeny tiny. But I used, if you look on this ghost right here, I didn't use the teeny tiny one just because I wanted to add a little bow. But with my teeny tiny one, I couldn't really add the bow. So I wanted to use a larger trick-or-treat bag. And that's what's so fun about all of these little accessories. You can mix and match. You don't have to use the small on the smaller, the large on the large. You can mix and match. So you could even put these great big glasses on the little ghost. It would still look so fun. So you can mix and match with all of the different pieces. And another fun thing, if you purchase the candy corn and the ghost, you can mix and match in between. So if you see the glasses, they're 2 different styles. So you can mix and match the glasses as well, you know, between your candy corn and your ghosts, because I have done the same style, the same font when I design. Usually when I design all my Halloween files, I use the same font, so you can mix and match if you would like to. So I try to do that with the different ones, like with my summer files. I use the same font, so you could mix and match different tags or different pieces together, so so they can all coordinate. But anyway, let's get to painting. So super easy peasy. Doesn't take much time at all to paint these. And I'm just going to get some white out. Squeeze a bit out right here. So I just use just a simple white. The colors I use is just a simple white. We're going to be using burnt umber. I use the burnt umber to do my shadowing. My the outside layer, the shadowing layer that we do floating. The only time I used the black was for the dots in the candy corn's eyes. And I did use a Posca pen to do the ghost face. It was just much easier to just get all those little pieces to color inside here. The other colors, so for the candy corn, we use this Tangelo orange, and then I use the cadmium yellow. So I believe that's all the colors. So the ghost is easy, just black and white. And then I used orange for the glasses. So I thought that was just give it a fun little, a fun look. So he can have orange glasses. So I like to use just a little bit of water when I do my painting. So I just gonna add just a little bit of water to my brush. And let's paint up our ghost. Just get lots of paint on there and just go with it. And I do not mind painting over those eyes. Once it gets time to using that Posca pen, you can still see where you need to go. So if you can't hear, my husband is out there mowing the lawn. So he's out there mowing. I mowed it twice last week, and then once earlier this week. We live on an acre, a little bit more than an acre, so and a lot of that is grass. So we try to mow twice a week, otherwise it gets out of hand. So he's mowing out there. So he might be driving by now and again with the mower. So I will do 2 base coats on the candy corn. You can use, if you like to use foam brushes, use, kind of whatever you like to use. Okay, so once I have this base coat, just set that aside. Oops, rub my nail in it. There we go. Quick fix. So I'm just going to paint the white on here. And I'm going to be the middle layer is going to be the orange. So it's okay. And I don't worry about the score lines because once we do our floating, our shading, you don't really notice the lines anyway. So on here. So, but you can clean them out if you feel like you need to clean that out. So, and all I do is just you can take a toothpick or a poker tool. This is just a Dollar Tree tool. And then just clean out that line. You see how quick and easy that is? So anytime you have score lines and you want them to be clean, just use a poker tool or a toothpick. So that works great. So I'm going to set that aside, my paintbrush. And then while that's drying, actually, I'm going to take my heat tool to it. So because these are such a quick and easy project, using a heat tool of some sort kind of speeds up the process. Okay, so remember when you're using a heat tool, you don't want to get too close because you could bubble the paint. So keep it, I usually keep it at a nice distance and then just keep it moving. So if you stay steady in one spot, you could probably burn and then you could get some bubbling. So because this is the wood, so, oh, I guess I have the ghost face on both sides. So I'm going to make sure that that fits really good on there. Okay. So I'm not sure how that happened, but I am going to actually sand it because it's really rough. The plywood is really rough. And then I wipe it on my apron. That's kind of what I do. And now it's really smooth. So with this one, I could do it, but I could also wait till I do the 3 layers if I wanted. So that just felt like it was pretty lifted. So I just used just a fine grit, like a 220 grit sandpaper. So nothing really harsh, just to get some of that tooth that it's picked up. So I'm going to give another base coat. So I like to do the two base coats when I do my painting. And you probably heard me before. I usually try to go from the inside to the outside. I get less paint over the edges going that way, but I still clean up my edges anyway if I have any of my paint going over the edge, and I'll show you how I do that once we get to that point. Okay, so 2 base coats. So this one is done. So that's all the base coating I need to do on my ghost. Oh, I've got a little fuzzy in here. Okay, so then we're just going to base coat the top of our candy corn again. Okay, just going to get rid of some of this excess paint that I have on my brush before I go rinse it in my water. I have this 2-side rinse my brush because I use one side for the dirty, and then I'll put it maybe in the more clean side. Just a little paint on that. Just so when I pick up the next paint, it's not so muddy. The paintbrush is not so muddy. Okay, let's set these aside and dry, and I'll probably have to use the heat tool again. But for now, I'm just going to take 2 of the pieces, and it doesn't matter which ones, they all fit together nicely. So I flip it over to the back side, and here's the back side. If I don't like one back side, I could choose the other one. This one looks better because sometimes when you buy this plywood that I use, they have actually went in with a wood filler on one side of the wood. So I'm going to put that one right in the center, and you're not even going to see that. So the back is going to look a little bit better. Okay, so then the next step I do, I'll take a baby wipe and a little bit of the burnt umber paint. You could use, I mean, any brown. It doesn't have to be burnt umber, but just any brown that you have. Or if you wanted to do a different color, but I just like to just use a bit of a brown. So I just put the baby wipe in there, and then I'm just going to rub on here. And this is called super quick painting. It almost gives it kind of a wash, so it's not like a total solid color. And you can see how much it lightens up. So it will, when it dries, it will lighten up a bit. But I try not to, you can see that there's a little bit of like little grooves in there. I mean, you can work at it and get those little grooves if you want to, but I don't usually worry about that. So I'm just doing kind of a quick coverage just to make the back, give it that finished look. Do you know what would be really cute if you purchase the SVG file and you blew it up even bigger? Because once you have the SVG file and you have your laser printer, you can enlarge these pieces. Like I said, the largest is 5.5, but what if you did it larger and made it into like a door hanger? You could have like a family of candy corn on a door hanger. That would be so cute. Okay, so I just need to set these aside to dry, and they will dry pretty quickly. I'll come back to these pieces. Let's go ahead and use the heat tool again. And I don't need to use the sander. I only use the sandpaper once, usually on that first coat. Other than that, it still feels pretty smooth. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and let it cool down a little bit. Let's work on our orange. Like I said, these come together quite quickly. Just do that center of candy corn. So some people, when candy corn comes around, some people love candy corn, love that sweetness of that candy corn, and some people are not a fan, but I do like candy corn. And I try to do pretty good with my line, but if you don't get it perfect, and there's a few of them I didn't do just perfect, which is totally fine. Because once you do the shading, I do the shading on both sides here. Just kind of blends it. Just kind of takes care of your mistakes. But you don't need to worry about it getting it so perfect. I try to do pretty good. Just kind of go slow and just drag your brush. There, let that dry. Okay, and I'm not going to rinse off my brush because I'm going to use it again in a second. So if you can see my little Hey Boo, we have the, the Boo Crew. You can see that I did the Boo Crew with the orange. Let me show you how to do that with the engraving. On these, I didn't do anything. So these were cut out of MDF, and so I didn't paint them or anything. I just left them just as they are. Hey, sugar. So let me just show you. If I do the Hey Boo, I'm just going to take usually I've got a brush that's kind of not super tight. So it's not very tight. I'm just going to add just a touch of water. So I'm just going to pick up this orange. And what I do is I just kind of squish the paint in that engraved. And this is engraved. So on some of the pieces, like the lines here, those are scored lines because it's just a quick and easy. But these are engraved. So when you get the kit, I show you the different line color with the PDF file. But this is engraved. You could score it if you want. That's fine. Just kind of gives you an outline of each letter, and you wouldn't need to do this technique if you don't want to. Squish it in there really good. Just try to get good coverage. And before I rinse my brush, and I'm going to use the other end of my baby wipe, just save on baby wipes. And then I'm just going to pull across. I'm trying not to dig in to that engrave, but I'm just pulling across, and I've got some of the brown paint on my work surface. Just rub it with my finger. Okay, so then I have my Hey Boo, and you can see that the wood looks a little bit orangey, but don't worry about that because we are going to paint black over the top. And I'm going to show you how to do that so you don't get into that orange hey boo that we did, so you can still read it. Okay, so there's our hey boo. See how this is. Let's give this one more coat of the orange. And you can see if you are making several of these, you would just jump from one candy corn to the next one when you're painting, just so they have dry time. Okay, that is good right there. So we need to let this dry, and then we will do our yellow coat on there. I can rinse this brush because I'm finished with it. And I do like to let the inside dry really well. I like to let it dry really well before I do the painting over the top. And we'll use a sponge when we paint over the top, but I'll show you how to do that when we get to that point. Okay, I think this is dry enough. While this is drying, while our cute little candy corn's drying, we're going to go ahead and use our Posca pen. And I need to see where I put my Posca pen. Here it is. Okay, so this is just a fine one right here. And I can still see, you can still see the lines where your ghost face is. And if you want to use a paintbrush, you absolutely can. I'm just going to use a Posca pen and just kind of follow over those lines. Kind of go halfway, and then I come around. That's just kind of how I do it. You're just making ovals. Just making ovals. We went last night to fairgrounds last night, or the rodeo grounds, I guess you could say. We had a monster truck event that we went to watch the monster trucks. That was the first time I did that with the monster trucks. It was fun. And they had a lot of motorcycles, little kids on motorcycles, just swerving in between the cones just for a racing. That was kind of fun. So this is just like you're coloring in a coloring book. Just kind of do my outline, and then I just fill in. And these Posca pens, they are a paint pen, if you weren't familiar with what they are. They're just a paint pen. And they work great for little areas. And they come in all different nib sizes. Like you have your really thick one, so you can paint a big area. So they work great. And they're really, there's a lot of ink in them. Okay, so I just set that aside and let that dry. Oh, one more little spot I can see. Just set that aside and let it dry. Now see how our candy corn is doing. Let's go ahead and paint our yellow, and this is just the cadmium yellow that I'm using. And once we get this done, we are ready to do our shading. So you don't have to do the shading if you don't want to. If you like to leave it just that solid, you can. If you want to give it more of a farmhouse rustic look, you can sand the edges to give it that look. However you want to do. Like I said, this comes in a DIY kit. So if you don't have a laser, you don't have tools to cut this, I have the kits on the Etsy shop. Or if you have a laser and you purchase the SVG files, then you will be able to do that as well. Make it your own. Okay, and we are going to do 2 coats of this one as well. Set that aside. So let's come. I am going to actually leave this one, this little Hey Sweetie. This is going to go on the candy corn. I'm going to leave it just like this. And this is just the MDF piece. I'm going to leave it just like that. The Hey Boo. We did the painting on the inside. So now let's go ahead and do the black. And I just need just a little bit. And I'm going to use a sponge. And these are just a makeup sponge. So the large size. And then I just cut them down to whatever. I usually cut them in 4s. So I'm just going to tap on there. Just get a lot of that excess off. So now when I do my Hey Boo, I'm just going to lightly tap it. Very light. Because if I push too hard, then I'm going to squish into that Hey Boo, and then you're not going to be able to read it. So you want to just go very light. And I'm just tapping very gently over the top of that. Okay, that looks good. So you can still read the Hey Boo because I just very gently tapped that sponge on top of there. Okay, so that one is finished. Our little tags are finished. Our ghost, we're ready to do the shading. Let's see. Let's go ahead, and that still needs to dry, the yellow. So I'm going to show you our shading. Let me pick up another brush. I'm going to pick up this brush here. So I like to do just a bit of a brown shading if you're going to use brown, or if you like to use black, but I usually just use a brown almost on all of my little projects. So what I'm going to do, if you haven't done shading before, is I got my brush wet, and then I lay it on my paper towel, let the moisture absorb out of the paintbrush, dip my corner, and it's hard to tell with brown, but I've got a little bit the corner of my paintbrush, and then I'm just going to walk it back and forth, and I'm just kind of blending that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag my paintbrush around. I'm just going to weave it on there, and it kind of gives a little bit. I've got some fuzzies on there, a little bit of, you're trying to get an ombre look where it goes from darker to lighter. That's kind of what I'm working toward right here. But I'm not going to go up yet. I need to let that dry. If you don't like the look of it, grab a baby wipe and wipe it off. And that's okay too. I have done that before where I haven't loved the shading. You can wipe it off and go again. I'm going to let that dry and then hit this with the heat tool. Okay, One more coat of the yellow, and the candy corn will be done being base coated. Just try to follow that line. Like I said before, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you want to clean out the lines, you can. I can see a thick line on here. So I just wiped my paintbrush off, and then I'm just going to pick it up. If you get a thick line, it just takes longer to dry. Okay, we'll set that aside, and we'll come back to our shading. So again, I'm just going to dab off most of the water. You can watch it. Watch the water absorb into your paper towel. Pick up the corner. Just blend, 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 blend. Whoops, I got some water on my, did you see the water on my poor little ghost? Got carried away. So I'm going to dab it off. And because my water's orange, you could see little orange spots. I guess you could make an orange polka dotted ghost. That might be cute. Okay. See which brush I'm using, the smaller of the two. Tap that out. Just blend that. Now I'm just going to go from the bottom. Just going to come around. There we go. There's the ghost. The candy corn is not dry yet. And I splashed on it too. Huh? Okay, heat tool. Okay, let's, it's still not 100% dry. Okay, remember what I was telling you about? Don't get too close. Oh, hi, friends. Lorinda, is that your name? Lorinda. I don't think I've seen that name before, but hi. Yep, I'm just trying to get more lives. In fact, I've got some other cute Halloween projects that I'm going to, if you've seen my my witch shoe and my, what's the other one? The witch shoe. Oh, and I have the Halloween tags. I've got to get those painted too. So I've got to get on a live and get painting those too. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I love it when people can come and hang out with me and join me. Okay, let's go ahead and pick up that burnt umber just a little bit on the corner. and wipe it. Like I said, if you don't like to do the shading, you don't have to do the shading. I'm just going to keep going around. And when you feel like your paint is like starting to dry, it looks dry, obviously need more water. So I just get it wet, pick up some more paint, and start floating again. They call this floating. So sometimes I call it floating, sometimes I call it shading. Sometimes I call it highlighting, I guess, when I use white. Okay, so we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to go in between those two lines. Okay, so our ghost is good. We've got our hey boo. So it looks like I can use a pasta pen a little bit. There's a couple little white spots on his eye and on his mouth. We're just going to clean that up again. Okay, so as that is drying, it doesn't take very long to do that that shading, that floating. I'll call it all the things: floating, shading, highlighting. It takes, takes a little time. So okay, I mean it doesn't take much time at all. So let's pick up a little bit of that brown, and now I'm just going to go on one side of that line, and that's why some of those imperfections that you had, they get hidden, because my painting is not perfect. I gone over the line just a little bit. So it just kind of hides that. There. Flip it around. Get some water. Push some of the water off on the paper towel. Rub, rub, rub. And then just start dragging it. See if I'm going to make it. Kind of run out of water, I can feel, but there. There, cute. He looks like a rustic candy corn for sure, doesn't he? Cute. Rustic candy corn. Okay, so we've got, those are ready. So the only thing we need to do is glue the pieces together. So once this dries just a little bit more, we'll glue them together. But let's work on our little tags. So our tags, so if you can see, I just put like a little bow on the bigger treat bag. That's all I did on that one. But the tags, we did kind of this fun, all this fun ribbon. And I've had ribbon for just years, and they're just lots of different varieties. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to push that aside. I'm going to bring some of my ribbon over, and I just have a bunch here. I used some of this little thin twine stuff to wrap around the ribbon. So let's see. So I want to do, let's go ahead and do the candy corn. So I am going to, and all my pieces, I don't really cut them really, really short to begin with. You can see they end up really, really short, but I like it to work with them a little bit longer, so I don't go quite that short. I like to cut them, once I get them on the tag, then I will cut them shorter. So let's see what else we used. We used a little piece of this yellow polka dot. And I'm glad to use some of this ribbon that I've had for a long time. And I did use a piece of this, little piece of this brown. It's kind of a lighter color brown check. And layer them in any way you want. Just layer them up. I want to have that polka dot facing up though. Okay, so I'm just going to stack them together. After I tie this on, I'll restack them. So I just put my thin twine around here and I just tie it once. Nothing fancy, and I just lay that on. And then I take my stack, my little stack of ribbon, lay it on the twine. And now this is where I'm going to just tie a knot. If you have an extra finger around, you have a little one that can give you an extra finger, that's always helpful. Sometimes as crafters, we make it work, huh? Just try to use all the fingers. So I'm just trying to tie a nice tight knot right there. So that's it. And once I do that, then I'm going to give this a haircut. But let's go ahead and do our Hey Boo. And I actually used a little thin piece of orange to squeeze all of my little ribbons together. If you just hopped on, say hi. It's always fun to have people come and hang out with me. I'm actually going to tie this twice because it seems like it wants to loosen up. Usually I just tie it once, but that one, it wanted to loosen up. Okay, so I actually didn't use this brown. I'm looking to see what I used on this one. So I used a couple pieces of the orange, this orange, and then I used a piece of lace. You can see I cut them longer, so much longer than is needed, but I really like to work with them longer than shorter. And I think I took a couple pieces of this black as well, kind of threw in there. Okay, so remember, we're just going to do our stacking, however you want to do your stacking. I probably should put some of this orange down. Let me come up to where you can see me a little bit. Sometimes I get pulling a little bit too close to me, and then I don't know if you can see quite as well. I'll put these black pieces on there. And I think I'll put the lace on there last. Okay, so again, I'm going to tie a knot. Let's tie this all together. Oh, I just broke that. It was so thin that let's broke. So now we got to try again. Sometimes on this very thin twine, there are some pieces that are so thin, and then others are very, very thick. Apparently, I had a little thin piece. And I don't like to have this too short to work with too, but I'm starting to wonder if this piece is going to be short. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, you guys. Okay, let's do my little stacking again. Get all my ribbons on here. And I'm just going to pull it as tight as I can. No, I don't want that little cording to break. So you could also just use like jute if you have like that jute twine, brown twine. That works just fine for this too. I've done that before. Okay, that worked. So you can see my ribbon pieces are quite long, but don't worry about that. We're going to be giving them a haircut. Okay, let's set these aside, and I'm going to start gluing things together. Push my ribbons aside. Done with those. And I'm just going to use a piece of stick fast. So this is the back, my wood piece that I have here. I'm just going to glue, oh, I want the middle piece, right? The middle piece that doesn't have anything on it. That's going to be the center part of our sandwich. Okay, then on the top. And I usually stand it up and just feel all the edges to make sure they are good and even. Oh, doesn't want to do what I want it to do. I'm going to hold it here for a second. And then I'm going to lay it down. And then hold it together for a few seconds. Just let that glue do its job. Okay, the bottom piece of our ghost. Take the middle part that doesn't have any paint on it, but you want to try to make sure to get the back to the front to the back. Okay, here's our ghost. Put it on top. Usually I get the glue starting to adhere before I lay it down, but there must be just a little bit of a bow in this wood, so it's not touching the center, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is just try to get it as good as I can, and then I'm going to lay it down. And then press firmly, and then it will glue. Okay, I picked up a little bit of paper towel on here. So if you pick up a little piece of paper towel, because there was a little bit of glue there, just take my sander and sand that little bit of paper towel off. Okay, so one of the other things that I like to do before we put our tag on is I like to clean up the edges. So this isn't too bad. Sometimes I get kind of in a hurry and it gets pretty messy on the edges. But I have discovered these are called brush markers, or sorry, fabric markers, furniture markers. That's what they are. They're furniture markers, and they're from the Dollar Tree. And so you actually get a 3-pack. You get a black and a brown, and then there's like a burgundy color, which I don't ever use that color. But for $1, these are nice and juicy. And I just take, I'm gonna clean the edges up. So whenever I have this, I usually put the painted side away from me, because then I'm less likely to go over the edge and bump it. If I have the painted this way, I'm more likely to paint on the front. So that's kind of my tip when using the markers. I have the painted part away from me, and then I just go along the edge and just kind of clean up. And I just kind of do just a quick cleanup anywhere that needs to be cleaned up. And this is the black one. If I didn't say, I may have. And sometimes I don't go all the way up to the edge, because you could see it on the other side. But I'm just kind of cleaning up just a little bit of that And it's okay if there's a little bit over the edge, but just kind of cleaning up the main, the big boo-boos, I guess you could say. Okay, so here, so I've got a little bit of where I've kind of gone over the edge. So just get you a furniture marker. I've used a Sharpie before. I've used that quite a bit. Sometimes with this wood, this plywood, there's imperfections. Like some of the wood might look a little bit lighter in an area, and if you really don't like that, just take a marker, clean it up, because it's just plywood. It's very imperfect. And so see, I didn't quite get these matched up exactly how I wanted. So I'm cleaning up the white edge. So obviously this is the bottom, so it wouldn't have mattered if I was trying to clean it up because it's not going to show anyway, but I do like to do that kind of all the way around, so it gives it a finished look, especially if you're deciding to sell these. It just cleans up the edges, makes it finished, makes it look a little more professional than if you were just to have messy paint splatters. It just makes it look really nice. Okay, so we are ready to do our finish up with our tags. We're all painted, and it did, you know, I've been on here for almost an hour painting just these two pieces. But remember, I'm talking and explaining. So when you paint them yourself, it goes so much quicker because they are very quick and easy. Okay, so let's come back to our little Hey Boo, and we are going to do the haircut. So sometimes I just bring my tray over here because I know I'm going to throw away my tray, and then I will just cut in here, but I might use that for working on another project today. So sometimes I will cut maybe a little longer than I think, because you can always go shorter, right? You can always go shorter, but once you get too short, all done. The first layers I cut shorter and then go a little bit longer with the back layers, just so that they show up a little bit more. So once I give it a little haircut, I might lay it on my little ghost and see. And I just feel like that's just too much coming up into his mouth. So I don't mind going quite a bit shorter. Yep, I get all my pieces flying all over the place. So since I went shorter with that side, we will go a little shorter with this size. So do you see how short I got that? It's really short, but if I was to try to cut them that short and tie them up, I don't know. I just don't think I would do it very well. But I mean, you might have better luck. So you can see with the two differences how much I just end up cutting off. But that's just how it goes. So cut a little longer and then go shorter. And you can see I just used all different sizes of ribbons and different varieties, twines, little lace. Okay, I like that with the candy corn. And if there's a piece that you can't see, like I can't see this little, that I have this little brown layer, you know, you need to, you know, kind of maneuver a little bit. You can do that. Okay, last little bit, the last thing that we need to do is just glue our pieces on. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the stick fast glue. I might tap it on my paper towel just so it's not so thick. I've got a lot of fuzzies on him. I'll blow them off. Just decide where you want to put it. Let's put it over, a little over on this side. Excuse me. Okay, this one, I think I'll go up into that, a little bit up into the orange, because this is just the tag, like on this one. Oops, I have my false little wall about falling over. So no glasses or anything, so I went a little bit higher with the tag, where on this one he has his little glasses, so I came a little bit lower. Okay, so we're just going to kind of go in the middle. I'm just going to hold it firmly for a few seconds, and that's it, you guys. That is it with our sweet, yummy, and delicious little candy corns. So here's the little, the tag names. So for the candy corn, there is the Hello Sugar, Hey Sweetie, and candy corn. And I think for the little, little tags, or the little trick-or-treat bags, there might be just two names, Trick or Treat, and let me see what the other one is. I want candy. I want candy. I'm gonna have to make some more because I want to use that tag. That would be so cute. Okay, let me show you all of these together. Put some of my little supplies away, switch them out of the way, so we can see how cute these are, you guys. I'd love to see the finished look. So these are the two that we just painted today. Super cute. So here's the family. Now you can actually see the sizes. I'm going to turn them around because I think my camera is upside down until I get that fixed. I am working on doing like a dual camera where I will be able to see the comments better, because right now I'm looking up at my phone to see comments. So, but we're working on a little new setup. Just got to tweak it a little bit more. Okay, so here is our candy corn family. Now remember, if you have the SVG file, you can make it even bigger if you want. That's up to you. But they would be so cute as like a door hanger. I think that would be really cute. So here's our candy corn family. And then here is our adorable little ghost family. And I think I lost my baby ghost. I lost my baby ghost. Baby ghost, where are you? That's weird, huh? Isn't that weird how, oh, I just found him. I left him in the little, over when I was showing you the different pieces. Isn't that fun when we're crafting? We sit in the same place and we use the same little projects, and then all of a sudden the scissors go missing. And you're like, they're here somewhere. So that's what just happened with Baby Ghost. So these are the different sizes that I have, and I do have these as a kit. If you wanted to purchase the kit, the DIY kit, you would get unfinished wood, and you would get glasses for each size, whether you use the glasses or not, and then you would get to choose the trick-or-treat bag or the tag with the name, with the phrase name that you want from the ones that I have already made up, but you do have a choice. So anyway, tipping you up. So I'm glad you hung out with me today. Oh, so fun. So fun to hang out and paint again. I've got to do some more painting. I'm going to be painting up my witch high heel shoe. I'm going to be painting that, and I'm going to be working on my my Halloween tags. And the Halloween tags I like to put beaded garlands on. But anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday and do something fun today. We'll see you later. Bye.